Welcome to the Dub Show. I appreciate you guys, man. Check me out.
I caught an L at a young age, stretched out. Getting 24, homie, I got 5 out. Now on YouTube, trying to get a paper route. Coming till you know the deal, we on some grown shit.
What's cracking, everybody? New video. Today we're gonna have a flashback to the kind of like the old school Dubs channel. No clowning on this one, at least I don't think there would be. This video is gonna go back to pretty much right before I caught my murder. Okay. So I had a homeboy from my neighborhood, right? And he had a brother from the neighborhood, a younger brother from the neighborhood, and then they had a sister, right? And the sister was seeing a dude from one of our enemigos, right? From Goleta. And the way it always was in my neighborhood was this. Since his sister's old man was from Goleta, and we didn't get along with anybody over there, if she wanted her old man to cut, they lived in the West Side Projects, right? So, obviously, for him to come in, he was going to have to come in with somebody from our neighborhood, being the homie or his brother, right? The sister, if the vato from the G would have tried to come in with just her, it would have probably been a problem. But the way it was in the neighborhood, if you're brought in with a homie that's respected in the neighborhood, they're going to look at it as you're a guest, right? Nobody's going to do shit as long as the homie's respected. So we were hip. He had told me like, hey, Holmes, my sister's with, so-and-so from the G. And we're like, all right, I'll just, do it right. He's like, yeah. So I said a couple of days after we heard that, some of the homies from the Loquitos, another clique in the neighborhood, they got at me, right? And they were like, hey, what's up with so-and-so, Holmes? And we're like, that's the homie, why, what's up? And he goes, hey, Holmes, look, we saw a truckload of bottles from the G, right? And when we went to run up on the truck, homeboy was in the back of the truck. And I was like, what? And he goes, yeah, it was him and his sister and a truckload of dudes from the G. And I was like, where was it? And it was right there in the neighborhood. And I told him, hey, look it. You guys already know what time, because Loquitos are younger than my clique. And so I told him, I said, look, you know the get down, Holmes. I said, if you see that again, I said, do whatever you want to do. And if the homie gets hit in the process, oh, well, he shouldn't have been in there and he shouldn't be bringing him in here. I said, but I'm going to get at him and tell him, don't be doing that ever. That's not allowable. So I get at the homie and I was like, hey, were you over there? And he was like, yeah, this. I said, don't do that. That's not allowed. Your sister's old man wants to come in, you bring him in, or your brother brings him in. But you don't bring his homeboys. That's a whole different thing. He's like, all right, yeah, this and that. This fool does it again. The Loquitos caught them again, and they tried to get them dudes, and the homie was in the car, and then he was trying to act like the homies tried to move on them. So the decision was made that we were going to jump the homie out of the clica. He was not gonna be from the tiny local no more. The clique our clique was done with him, right? So, things being how they are, I'm sure one of the homies from the tinies probably called and gave him a heads up, like, hey, they're looking for you, and when they catch you, they're gonna smash you. He wasn't gonna be kicked out of the neighborhood, but he wasn't gonna be from the tinies no more, right? The tiny locals were not gonna be recognizing him as a tiny no more. So there was a couple occasions where we saw him driving. We knew like he'd have to go take his brother to work here or there, and we'd be nearby and like, hey, homie, hey, come and kick it. We're gonna have some beers. And he wouldn't stop. He'd be like, I'll be back. And he kept driving. So one night, I was at my homeboy's pad, my road dog, right? And it was only me, him, and one other homie from the neighborhood. And we were at my homeboy's pad, and there was a party there, and it was his sister and her friends and the dudes that they were seeing. And the dudes they were seeing were not from Bruta. They were actually from Chicas, right? So we were there just to make sure everything is respectful. And they lived on the outskirts of the neighborhood, right? And so we were there, and I say it's about 2 a.m. And I'm sitting there, and I saw somebody walk past the front window. So I look, right? And I see him, he stands in the doorway, and it's the homie that we're looking to jump out, right? And we're drunk as hell. And I look, my road dog looks, he gets up and he walks over. And the vato that we're looking for starts telling him something. And my homeboy goes, he's like, I see him nod. I'm just sitting there and I see him nod his head like, okay. The dude where the other homie takes off. The one that's in hot water with us right now. He takes off. Boom. And my road dog walks over to the other homie that's sitting there and he whispers in his ear. And the homie's like, all right. And he gets up and he walks out and follows him. Then my road dog comes to me. And he's like, hey, the homie knows where so-and-so is. He wants to clean it up. The problem he's having with our clica, he wants to clean it up. He knows where he's at right now. We're going to go. I said, okay. Now, what had happened was there was a dude from the east side that tried to stab one of the homies. And it didn't work. He scratched the homie, but we had been hunting for him. We had been hunting for him for about a month already. He wouldn't come out. Wherever he went, it was not to none of the east side hangouts because everybody was hunting for him. But now with the homie that's in hot water saying he knows where he's at, we're like, okay, he does this, everything's cool. So I get up and I walk out. And I remember they had a car there and I didn't recognize the car, and I look at who's driving it and it's not somebody from the neighborhood. So I asked, who is this? And he's like, he's my coworker, but he's Friedman. I've done things with him before, this and this and that. You know, I was a knucklehead, so I was like, all right, cool. I get in the back seat. My road dog sits on the other side, the other homie's in the middle, and the dude that's gonna have to do the hotline is sitting shotgun. So I tell him, let's go over here, a certain pad to go pick up the cuetes. Okay. So we drive out. The homie's not there, but we know he's gonna be around the corner at a little hangout. So we go over there and pound on the garage door. The garage opens. He's like, what's up? Where are they at? Because he knows if we're showing up at that hour, we're gonna put in some work. So we go back to his pad, which is around the corner, right? And this is weird, eh? I'm standing outside and we tell him what we need, right? We need this. We're going after so-and-so on the east side. Homie knows where he's at. And he's like, all right, I'm gonna go get them. So he goes in the house to get some guns. As we're standing there, I notice a dude that was very nervous. Never seen him before in the neighborhood, didn't know him. Me being the dude that I was, straight YA baby, straight knucklehead, I start grilling him. Who are you? Why are you so fucking nervous? And as I'm grilling him and I'm telling him, like, I feel like you need to just stay here. You need to act like, you didn't hear nothing that went on tonight. And he's like, well, they're taking my car. I said, exactly, and you ain't getting in it. I said, I feel like you're a rat. Look at how scared you are and you haven't even seen nothing yet. The dude comes out, the one that went in for the guns comes out. He's got 2 guns, right? And he did something that struck me as just weird. He brought one of the guns out and it was still in the case, like a leather case, right? And he puts it on the hood of the car that we're in, that we're gonna be riding in. He unzips it, opens it up. There's the gun. And there's what he used to do. He used to put baggies of bullets. That's actually the gun that I used in my murder later, right? And he's got little baggies with bullets. That's, so there's no fingerprints and all that, those that know, right? But when he opened it up, he looks at the vato that needs to do the cleanup And he's like, there it is. Are you ready to lose your life? Are you ready to lose your freedom? He went on this big old, like, I don't know, like, it was the weirdest, like, juvenile hall pep talk sounding ass. And I'm looking at him and I'm looking around at everybody like, what the hell is going on here? So I butt in and I said, hey, what the fuck are you talking about? And he's like, no, I said, man, shut up. I said, this is what we do, homie. We from the west side. We're going to go and do this right now. This Vato, he tried to do something to the homie. It didn't work out. Now he's got to pay. All this, and I told him, you're scaring me. You know what I mean? You're making me nervous with this talk. Like, it's going to go down right now. So the other Vato that I checked, he's like, hey, I'm not going to go. I told him, I already told you ain't going. Sit on the curb. When they come back, they're taking your car. When they come back, they come back. We're in our car. Let's go. I was pissed. We wound up getting in our car. They got in the other car. They followed us for a few blocks. And then somehow they got lost, right? The driver that was driving our car said, hey, they stopped at a light. By then, it's almost 3 a.m, right? They stopped at a red. We just went through the red light. We're on a mission. We don't know. This dude says he knows where he's at. I don't know where it is. I don't know how long he's going to be there. We're in a hurry. This dude we've been looking for. So we push right through the red light. They stop at the red light. The driver in our car stops and I go, hey, what are you doing? He said, hey, your homie stopped. I look back. They're all standing in the middle of the street, pissing in the street at a red light. I told them they don't want to go. They know where to go. They know what part of town we're headed towards. We go to the east side, right? I said, if they want to, put in some work with us, they'll find somebody, but we need to go. It's late now, right? So we took off and, I don't want to go into the details of what happened, but just say that, the gun got emptied in an area on the east side. It was a complete waste of time when it was all said and done. But like I said, that gun that was used that night was the gun that was used when I caught my case, right? And I wish I would have listened to my gut that night, because that guy that was giving the lecture, are you ready to lose your freedom? Are you ready to lose your life? He was somebody that was well known in the neighborhood, well respected. And he's the one that turned himself in and told the cops it was me that committed the crime. This story is just to remind people, for one, do not get yourselves in these situations. This is a different time, different era. But if you are in those situations, man, trust your gut. My gut told me to be afraid of that dude. Not physically, but that there was something wrong. I'd never seen that before in the neighborhood, especially ours, especially during that era. Nobody was playing around in my neighborhood at that time, and to see this dude who was known to not just pull guns out, but to use them, to see him acting that way, I was like, wow. And yet I overlooked it. A few weeks later, I think it was maybe a month later, I'm involved in something that he obviously wasn't cut out for. Anyways, that's my video for today. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Stay safe, stay smart, and tell the ones you love that you love them, right? I'm out.